What's up, everybody? Let's talk about the stock market today. If you haven't watched my video from yesterday, you absolutely need to check it out. Yesterday, I predicted the stock market would crash within a week. I still contend and assert that will happen. Let's take a look at what happened today. I think something very revealing to back up my claim from yesterday. At the very top of the chart, you'll see a yellow circle. 12.25. That's the range for today. We are looking at the S&P 500 futures on a daily chart. Today hit another all-time high. What do you know? 4463.25. But look at that range, 12 and a quarter. Now, I took the time to go back the last several months, one day at a time. And there has not been a day in the last several months that has a range this small. What does that mean? That means trading was super tight today. From the lowest to the highest dollar amount today was super tight. Only $12.25 range in the S&P 500 futures. That means whoever's trading, the entire world that's trading S&P 500 futures is hecka nervous. Yeah, we hit an all-time high. But look at all the previous days to this. Even if you go back 1, 2, 3, 4, I think about 5 days back, you see a red doji cross. Skinny little looking doji candlestick. But even that candlestick had more range from top to bottom than today. You can go back as many days as you want. There isn't a day on this chart all the way back to April, and probably going back even further, that had a day with a range of 12 and a quarter or less. Doesn't exist. There's 16, there's 18, there's 20, there's 50. There's some really big days, but no day has had a range this small in the last several months. That is a very telling sign. Also, look at kind of in the middle of the picture you're looking at there. There's a circle kind of lower left part of the screen. The Stochastic Momentum Index. Look at the two numbers I circled there, 84.87 and 80.24. That is momentum. The momentum is high. Go all the way to the right of the chart, staying with that indicator. Blue and red line all the way to the right there. Look how high the momentum is. It's almost as high as it was back on July 1st when I said the stock market was going to pull back, and within a week it did. And again, if you didn't watch yesterday's video, I'll put a link in the description. Go watch it. But I said I traded that pullback, which was about, 43.75 down to about 42.50-ish area. $125, $150 pullback. I made $500 on that. Could have made more, but I played it small. So the momentum that we're looking at today is not quite as high as it was on July 1st, but it's really close. So what does that tell me? After yesterday's massive forecast number, which was about 456, 457, which is something we don't see very often. And today, the forecaster is still pointing down. Look at that indicator at the bottom, all the way to the right. Look, it's pointing down, right? You see how the forecaster is pointing down? Still pointing down, even after today. And the forecasters come down. Yesterday was 456, 457 area. Today it's 433. Sure enough, it's coming down. Okay, so remember, that's a forecaster. It's predicting the future. It's saying that the price will go down. But look at the price today. It still went up. Look at momentum. Still going up. The forecaster is saying, we're going to go down. Now, yesterday I said that within a week we would see the market begin, the collapse of the market would start within a week. I still assert that's going to happen. So momentum is not quite there yet for it to begin. That's why I said a week. And you can just tell by this tiny little range. This candlestick today, with hitting the all-time high, was almost a doji. And then after the 3 o'clock, well, I'm Central Time, so it's 3 o'clock for me, but after the 4 o'clock East Coast closing here in the United States, which, is the SPY, right? Everybody trades the SPY, the long, short options, all that stuff. Or the SPX, you can watch the SPX, but most people are trading the spider, right? Soon as that sucker closed, what happened? It went from like $2 to $3 and popped up $5 for the day, plus 5. Why? Because you got BlackRock buying freaking stock for the Federal Reserve and all those jokers doing their bullcrap. That's right, you heard me say it. No, it's not a conspiracy theory. Go check it out. You can look for yourself. It's easy. It's online. Yes, the Federal Reserve has employed BlackRock, basically the largest broker in the world, to buy stocks in the open stock market for them. Yeah, they do it. It's not a conspiracy theory anymore. Everybody knows they're doing it. So what do? Is they try to prop up the stock market like they've been doing for the last, I don't know, umpteen years, and the last couple of years. Why do you think we have all-time highs going on and on and on and on? Okay, I'm going to digress here and not get too much into the whole thing, because a lot of people don't want to hear it. They just, they can't handle it. They can't handle hearing about how the Federal Reserve tampers with the stock market. But in any case, regardless of anybody who's doing what I consider criminal activity, okay, regardless of the Federal Reserve doing their shenanigans and anybody else who's manipulating the markets, they can't do it forever. That's because what will happen is called runaway inflation. We already know there's inflation in the United States. It's gotten pretty bad. It's going to get worse, a lot worse. Okay, but meantime, they don't own all the stocks. You notice how the S&P 500 is being propped up by like those 5 or 10 stocks? That's the only thing keeping this thing afloat. Because those are the stocks they're buying, right? And it has a kind of an effect, because the big brokers, the other big brokers and big funds, they know the Federal Reserve's doing it. So what do? They just participate. They just go along for the ride. They know the Federal Reserve's dumping money into the stock market and buying up all these 5 or 10 stocks and bonds, corporate bonds. I'm not talking about government issued bonds. I'm talking about corporate bonds. Yeah, they do that too. So the stock market's artificially propped up, going on. But regardless, they don't own all the stock, right? They don't own all the shares of all the stocks across all the markets. Because if they were going to do that, well, and then, we don't have a free market anyway, but it would be like, you have absolute runaway inflation. Like Japan, which owns almost, like the majority of the stock in the Japan market, the Japan government owns it. And if you didn't know already, I'll inform you a little bit here. Both Japan and I think Switzerland, their government, the equivalent of our Federal Reserve in Japan and Switzerland, buy U.S. stock in the open market. That's right. If you didn't know that, you know it now. So you get other government agencies buying U.S. stock and doing all that crap, and our Federal Reserve is doing the same thing. They basically just, the U.S. Treasury and the Federal Reserve all just became one last year, basically. But like I said, no matter how much they try to manipulate the markets and other things that are going on, they can't really totally control the market. At least not yet. Give it 5 or 10 years, maybe the story will change. But for now, we can still look at things, and we can still predict things that are going to go on. Okay, so the market will pull back, and I believe it's going to pull back really hard. I believe it's going to collapse. I don't know exactly when. I think it'll start sometime next week. I think there's going to be I think within starting next week, we'll even have an opportunity for significant short side trade. Now, you might have the market rebound for a little bit and do some shenanigans, up and down nonsense. But overall, I think going into the fall and the winter, we're going to see the price of the stock market pull back. And I mean pull back hard. I still contend that. I still assert it. And today, looking at that tiny little range, remember, as I said at the beginning of this video, we have not seen a $12 range in months. Not one day on this chart is even anywhere near a $12 little itsy bitsy range. Now, I'm going to put up another picture here in a second. I took, just to show you, all of you, that I was serious about yesterday's video, I did take a position today, just one little contract on the eMicro S&P 500. One little contract. I call it my little feeler contract. My little feeler position. One contract. You can see it there on the screen. I'm down a few bucks. Big deal. Even if the stock market goes up for the next 7 days, I don't have to worry about it. It's a small position. If you didn't watch my video yesterday, go back and watch it where I talk about the importance of when you take a position, always take a very small position. That'll save your butt more times than you can believe. And then when the market does go in your favor and things begin to pull back, add to the position, lock in your profits with the trailing stop or trailing stop with a limit. Okay? And when your stop gets, when the market turns back and hits your stop, great, you're out, you made money. Okay? Okay, keeping the video as short as I can today, guys and gals. Hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Appreciate you hitting the bell icon to get the videos as they come out. Yes, I still assert that the stock market will begin to pull back hard starting sometime within the next week from yesterday. And these numbers confirm it. Same as it happened on July 1st. If you look at this chart, you want to pause the video. I know July 1st is kind of hard to see, but at the bottom there, Big Daddy forecast. Right around July 1, you'll see a big old peak down there on the Big Daddy forecast. And within 7 days, what happened? Stock market pulled back $150. Yes, I made money on it. I don't give financial advice. You do what you think is best. Yes, the stock market's being propped up by the Federal Reserve, but they can't control everything. I think we're going to see a pullback, an opportunity start next week, and I think we're also going to see a major collapse, a big, more than just a pullback, going into autumn and winter. We'll see how that plays out. Everybody enjoy the weekend. Talk to you all real soon next time.